Hi guys, it's me Angel coming to you with a really type of a tip video that I actually get a lot of requests for where I buy my pre-loved items. If I can give people tips on how to buy pre-loved items. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to buy off eBay because I have bought items off of eBay, aka Evil Bay. And this will actually not only help buyers, those of us who want to buy these bags or whatever, but sellers. And for today's tips, it's going to be geared towards Louis Vuitton. So we're going to do it Louis style. Do it Louis style. Okay, so my first tip that I want to give you guys is going to be read the whole ad. And I mean, once you find something that you're interested in, read everything, including the little counter thing at the bottom. That's actually a very important thing to read on, and I will explain to you why that is important. But just before you bid, do anything, actually just listen to the whole video because you'll need all this information when you look at your next item, and it will help you decide on whether you want to bid on it or not. So read the whole ad. Okay. The second one is going to be look at the photos. And I always say this: if you are going to ask for thousands of hundreds of dollars for a purse, I suggest you have at least 6 photos, if not more, because a seller wants you to give them so much money, but they don't want to pay the extra $50, $25 to add. I think the maximum is 12 photos. So that's really important that they have a minimum of 6 photos, because I'm not going to buy a Speedy with 1 photo and hope that it's correct. So you need a minimum of 6 photos, I believe, for me. And it should have every angle of the bag and the money shot, which I commonly referred to as the date code. It's very important that you have pictures of all the photos, because otherwise, this was my first mess up. I didn't have pictures of all the photos, and this is what happened to me: is I end up getting a bag with problems, but I blame myself because I didn't ask. So my third tip is, once you have decided, this is a bad I might look into or something like that, I'm interested in, read the feedback. And this is very important that you listen to what I'm about to say. A good score is awesome. If you have an item that you're looking at and they have no feedback, you do not want to be the first victim or scam. Although I do have faith, I'm pretty sure people on eBay selling for the first time, it might be real, but I would not go all in if this is my first time selling on a purse that costs hundreds of thousands or hundreds of dollars for people to trust me, because I would not trust someone that does that. So when you do read the feedback score, please pay attention. If it's a high number, pay attention to how people rate how their service was. So look at, as a seller, how did they rate? Because you could have 100% feedback, and I look at the feedback and they have not sold anything, and it's all feedback from them buying other items. So it's really important. And also, when you do read the feedback, if there is negative feedback, before you discount them, read why it's negative. And because I recently bought my pochette over again, and the lady had some negative feedback, and I looked at the feedback before I disqualified her, and it was all because I think she took too long or took a few extra days in shipping, but it was nothing like it was fake or not authentic, because those are red flags. So I actually went along with the sale, and it was perfect. So I loved my item, and her negative feedback did not disturb me. My next tip, number 4, is going to be look for a minimum of at least 5 comparable bags to the bag that you want to purchase. And a lot of people, if you've never bought anything used before, this is very, very important. And if you are wondering where I look at my bags, I'm going to tell you a few websites that I go to look at, but please don't think I'm endorsing these websites, but they are really good tools at besides the first forum, looking at the detail up close. And this are going to be Fashion File, Yogis, and Mallory's. And all you got to do is go onto his website. I know on Fashion File, go in there, click in, type in the bag that you want, and then look under sold items, and it'll bring up tons of items. And Yogis, they'll ask you if you want to look at items that are previously sold, and Mallory's the same. So one thing you also have to remember is that every Louis Vuitton item is made exactly the same. So don't let someone tell you this is a special edition and the ones from France are made differently, and no, they should all look the same. Maybe a millimeter off, but they should all look the same. So make sure the comparison photos, the item that in which you are interested in, looks just very much like identical twins, not fraternal, because they could be two different things, but identical twins. Of course, my next tip is going to be go back and now compare your item to the item that you want to buy and make sure they're the same. Okay, so number 6 would be look at the buy now price, because a lot of people disclude looking into buy now and only auctions because they automatically assume it's going to be more expensive than buying at an auction. But actually I got my Thames for buy it now price, and I'm happily married to this bag. And not only did I get it at a buy it now price, I got it at best offer. And I'm going to explain with you what best offer means, because I didn't even know what it meant until I clicked on it. And best offer basically means the seller has a preset price in which they are willing to accept lower than the listed price, and once you have agreed to that preset price, of course, now you have entered into a contract to buy that item for the price in which they accepted. A lot of people may think that buy it now price is you send them an offer and they send it back. You know, it takes 3 days. No, it's automatic. It's within 1 second you'll know if it's been accepted or not. But once it's accepted, like I said, of course, now it's yours. So you got to buy it right then and there. Now, number 7 is going to be important, and that's going to be ask if there are pets or any type of smoking odors of the bag. I don't necessarily mind pets, but you know, when it comes to certain type of hairs, if you have allergies, this would be important. But for me, smoking, because I have received an item off eBay, and it was just it was so bad I had to throw it away because I could not get the cigarette smoke out. And I have no problem if you smoke cigarettes, fine, but let me know, because I need to take that into consideration, because of course if you smoke cigarettes you might not know that your item stinks, but it does. So yeah, and I know a lot of Japanese bags are notorious for having a certain smell, so but they usually will tell you that there is some odor to their bags. And the way I always cure that is just pour some vacuum, that stuff you spread on the carpet, and vacuum up. So I just pour some in there, leave it in there for a few days, and then actually take the vacuum hose and vacuum clean it up, and it usually solves the problem, but only on the textile bags. Number 8 I'm going to have to say is make sure somewhere in the ad, like, I don't care where it is, this is very important, make sure somewhere in the ad it says 100% authentic. It's kind of one of those don't ask, don't tell rules that sellers say, well, it didn't say authentic, you just assume. So no, make sure somewhere in the ad it says 100% authentic. And if it does not, because sometimes, you know, people perhaps don't remember, but email them and make sure you get them to say before you bid, this is all before you bid, that is 100% authentic, so that you know the item that you're purchasing or wanting to purchase and bid on is real. And number 9, my tip is going to be only use eBay email service for correspondence, because it is basically a paper trail for correspondence. So now that I have wanted to know if this item is authentic, and you tell me yes, and I get it, and it's not, now I have proof that you lied. So that really will help when I open a case against you. I'm not saying you, but just in general. Number 10 is bidding usually happens at the last 10 minutes. I think 5, but the last 10 minutes is the most crucial. So don't think just because you put a bid in on a 6-day auction on the first day that you're going to win the item, because people like me or whatever will bid in the last minute and have bidding wars. So make sure if you're going to bid in the last 5 minutes or last minute, have your price, the maximum price that you would like to pay, set already, because it's some people will just, you know, they'll crush you at the end. So don't automatically assume anything. And back to bidding and the counter, I wanted to just touch on that just a little bit more. It's really important when I read the counter ticker, if they do have them, that a red flag for me would be on 10 minutes, an hour before the auction closes. If no one has bidded on it and bidded it on the item and there are 2,000 views and no one's touched it, there's a red flag there that something might not be kosher or legit about that item. So I would be cautious. But if there's tons of people voting or bidding, go for it. So those are my tips, and the tips that I gave you are just partial tips that might help you, and I suggest you kind of think about these tips before you even place your bid, because it's important that you read all the fine print before you place your bid, because you are entering into a contract and you are basically held liable, and bad feedback is not good. But eBay can be a very good alternative, because now of the new Louis Vuitton increases and, you know, the whole cloth tag thing. I'm definitely looking into exploring my options. And you know, another thing to think about, these are going to be some extra tips. So just because you see an item with all this authentic stuff right here, like the box and the dust bag, please don't pay attention to that, because you can buy these actually off of websites, and a lot of sellers and, you know, people will say, oh, it's authentic, but what is authentic is just the box. So be careful of the wording also. Make sure it says the bag is 100% authentic. And you just got to know your stuff, you know. It's very scary, and I suggest you take a lot of caution in buying, but it's a really good alternative. And a few other things I want to say is, if you want to take it an extra step, once you have entered into this contract, is please make sure that they ship your bag with the signature, because all that money you need to not have it be left on your doorstep and someone comes steal it, and now you got problems. So don't do that. Don't give feedback until the item is received, even though you may be pressured into please leave a 5 or whatever. I don't like it when sellers do that, but do not leave any feedback until the item is received. And another thing is use PayPal. Unless it's a bigger website, only use PayPal. Don't try and meet in a dark alley or somewhere, but just be safe. So I hope some of my tips have helped you. There are more I want to talk about, but I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm just going to leave it at those very nice, lovely tips. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, or keep inboxing me about in-depth details. But another thing is Captain Captain Mara, or Cap Mara, has another eBay tips video, so feel free to check out hers. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And hope you enjoy yourself, and happy eBaying, because it's pretty cool. You know, you need to have alternatives to saving some money. So go eBay, it's your eBay. Hey. As usual, have fun, guys. Take care.